Okay, hello everyone. So, this was supposed to initially just be Moonlight talking about the patch, but I want to address a topic real quick because I don't know when I'll be able to talk about it again in more detail. I have seen a few posts talking about how Aura is very aggressive towards casual players and a lot of backlash on it. In response, I've seen a bunch of very competitive players respond very aggressively towards it. So, I want to talk about something really quick here, and I'll try to make this as fast as I can, because this is really not what this video is supposed to be about, but I feel like it's worth talking about. So, first off, I think the main purpose of Aura is not necessarily a competitive thing. I think Aura is meant to serve a lot of the same way a Wipeout does, where it is supposed to make a big moment in the game feel really good. If you make it play, it's supposed to draw more attention, increase dopamine, right? Regardless of the skill level. There are also counterbalances to people with Aura on the other team. For example, taking them out builds your own faster because you're supposed to be feeling this great wave of accomplishment, like you took out the most valuable player on the other team. That kind of, mental stuff is the reason it's in the game. That said, right, there is also a possibility that it can lead to steamroll and unbalanced matchmaking. And I think it's fine to make the argument that this might not need to exist in modes like Turf War, that is already very snowbally as is, and where this could contribute to it. What I would say overall, though, right, I think it's a valid point, but my problem isn't really that this exists. I don't think catering by adding a cool, thing is necessarily a problem. I think the issue is when it comes to the casual side of the scene, unfortunately, Splatoon has kind of fumbled on those ends when it comes to features. Challenges had terrible time slots. Turf War has become cramped and fight focused, where that's supposed to be the mode where you can slow down and paint, and those stages have been built in a way that doesn't allow differences in playstyle to chill. The game has not done a great way at adding chill modes to the game. And I could talk about this forever, right? But the casual side of the game and that enjoyment has been hurt in this game. There's a very good video, I believe it's by the name of What Happened to Splatoon 3 or something like that. It's like an hour and 20 minutes long or something, and it's a very casual perspective. And I would highly recommend searching for and checking it out. I know I've made a post about it a bit ago. I didn't plan to talk about it because we're supposed to be doing a Moonlight video, but these are perspectives that deserve to be listened to and deserve to be cared about, right? What I think happened, right, when they made this game with these maps, why was Splatoon 3 like that? That is the video title, right? What I think happened is when the devs made the map design this way, they forced the player base into one of two playstyles, hanging really far back or being very aggressive. And that's been a problem since S2. Even with S2's map design, it's kind of led to that, but it hasn't been as extreme, right? In S2, everyone hung back and everyone complained about it. So in this game, they're like, okay, we're going to make everyone run in all the time, which is better, right? Obviously, than sitting back and getting 15 specials a game. But it's still not great that this is how we're forcing everyone to play the game at all levels of play. I like that the competitive side is being given cool features for once, because as a competitive player, I hate the maps, right? And I think stuff like this is really cool, especially from a spectator perspective. But it's also fair to say that if they're going to do stuff like this and not address casual concerns and adds different modes of playing the game or adjust things like that have been ignored, then yeah, there's going to be criticism for that. I hope Nintendo will do a better job of addressing both sides of the player base, because I think that's something that needs to be adjusted going forward. I think there needs to be more of a care, but at the end of the day, I think this problem primarily also stems from the maps, and sadly, I don't think that's a problem that's going to be fixed in Splatoon 3's lifetime. Alright, let's talk about the patch with Moonlight now. Hello everyone! I am now here with the rest of Moonlight. We are here to actually talk about the game, and we're going to be going through and giving our thoughts on this game-changing 11.0 balance patch. So, yeah. We're all ready? Y'all want to talk about things?
Some call it game changing. This is just how I've been playing.
Yeah, okay.
Bro had a line ready for this.
Like, what do you mean?
You rehearsed that before we started?
Brainstormed before the stream.
Like, bro.
Just trying to aura farm, the update's not out yet, we gotta wait for that.
Like I said, I've already been doing this.
Bro,
I'm
okay.
Okay. So I guess we can talk about the first thing. We have the addition of flow state. Let me actually get some music in the background. I high-key forgot to turn on the music, but we're gonna get some.
No, you gotta edit it later. Somehow.
But yeah, we have the addition of the flow state. This is a state in which you get more powerful through the effects of ink resistance, run speed, swim speed, and intensify action. You get this by getting kills or assists, painting the floor near people, or taking out a player with aura on the other team. And if you get that kind of stuff while you have aura, it can last longer, seems to go away when you die, and this seems to be a brand new effect added to the game. So who wants to start about this? What do we think about, flow
I didn't know
aura?
it was
Actually,
assists.
It's called Flow Aura.
Yeah, it's called flow aura state or something like that. Just in
Flow
NA,
aura.
apparently it's just called flow state in the other languages.
It's called Flow Aura. All right, buddy.
That's 3 syllables.
Anyways.
We need flow state for 2 syllables. It'll clog columns. You don't want to clog columns.
I think, yeah, it's better to, we're just going to call it flow. We should call it flow, but I know all the callouts are going to be about aura.
Aura.
So, like,
Aura.
I know
Actually,
we've
aura
already
is also 2
lost that
syllables.
part. I know we're not able to change that now.
Wait, does that mean if like a tacticooler, like someone pops tacticooler and then their team kills the whole enemy team, they'll just have aura because of the assists? That's
From
dumb.
what I can tell, we don't know for sure, but it seems like you have to get some kills on your own to proc aura.
You
You
have to
can't
get
do
a-
it purely from
yeah.
assists. Assists just help you. Same
Mm.
for like painting or anything. So you still have to get like a kill or two.
Shadow might get more aura
But it would be,
than
it's going to
normal.
be helpful for keeping it. Like if you can already proc it, then the assists are very helpful to keep it going for longer.
Mm.
However, we don't know how long that exactly helps, but that's a factor for
Yeah,
skills.
that's what I'm curious about. I want to know how long, like an assist, or if I'm assuming a kill adds more time to the clock than an
30
assist,
more
but
seconds.
Yeah,
It
I
doesn't
think
work that
that's
way.
something
It
we'll
doesn't
have
work
to
that
see.
way with Gambit, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean,
It's kind of just like they added opening Gambit as a
Yeah.
core thing in a game.
yeah, I mean,
That's
I
awesome.
feel
I like that.
I guess Gambit's still okay for keeping it at the beginning and it's easier to proc it, but I feel like Gambit is so much worse after this because you can just get it without the Gambit.
Correct. You just
It's
have the
probably
Gambit
not as
ability
strong, I
without-
guess. That could be another. It might not
It's
be as
not
many.
all of Gambit though.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's not as many of each ability, so that's fair. But
Yeah.
you also don't need a main
Could you
ability.
imagine fighting a 52 with Gambit plus Aura?
I don't
mean,
have to
imagine-
I think it'll
tomorrow.
also be like
that's
cooler
gonna
though.
happen.
I don't think it's gonna stack with abilities. I think it'll just be whichever you have more, because that's how cooler works as well. So I'd imagine it's gonna
Ah.
be a similar deal.
Oh,
where I
sorry,
don't think
a
it'll
cooler Gambited Aura 52. Sorry.
stack. Cooler.
Yeah,
Gambit
we're gonna be
or
fighting on
Red
that,
Fifty-Two.
guys.
Update.
Don't worry.
I was
Okay.
excited.
I ain't coming back.
I'm down to play Garden Warfare 2. We can just end the stream right now.
We are not supposed to be doomer pilled. We're on question one
The
right
52 gals,
Like, this
bro,
is
dude.
awesome.
Okay, honestly, I don't see it as big of a thing in top level just because most of the time, the most people that'll die is like 1 to 2 players, while the other like 2 to 3 players are just living. And that's like quote unquote optimal play. So that won't happen as often. I see it happening a lot in X rank, and the 52 gals are going to go crazy.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah,
I
and the one
think-
person usually that'll be dying on our team is Omega, so like
Yes. I was editing a VOD and Shadow was like, "We didn't die the entire push," and then I said, "I died," and he's like, "It's okay. It's fine if Omega dies as long as the rest of us lives."
I mean, I think it won't be a thing for too many weapons. I think it'll be very specific, and I think like in team play it won't be as common. It feels like a thing that'll happen a lot more in like random solo queue than anything else. But I do think there's like a few weapons that can keep the effect longer and could get stuff out of it. Off the top of my head, I feel like Splatlings have to be the best benefactor of this. They basically want all of the perks that would come with it, and a lot of Splatlings have tools to keep it going. Like Nautilus with Point Sensor and Rain, or Heavy Edit with its Cooler. So maybe we could see Splatling builds play around the fact that they can use Aura to have their mobility and intensify action and could stack more build elsewhere. That could be interesting. So I think like that's one class that could benefit. But if I have to give another one that I don't think was talked about a lot, what about Cooler Rapid? Because Cooler Rapid has to stack like a lot of mobility in IA right now. But if you just play around Charge Up and you proc Aura instead and you cycle between your Aura and your Cooler buffs to keep it active, that could be a way to solve something that's kind of been a problem for this weapon for a very long time.
I think it just depends on how much it gives.
I mean, we
Yeah,
know it
maybe
lasts at
with
least
the
30
numbers.
seconds when you proc it, so.
Like, doesn't QR just get better with this too?
I mean, you lose the Aura if you die, so I don't know.
And you
if
also give the opponents closer aura to aura if you die, so that's the other thing. Like, if you die
Yeah,
with
like
aura.
dying with that basically just supercharges the next player on the other team. So dying with it has like a lot more risk, if anything. I don't think it's comparable to Cooler, where it's like going down is okay. You actually have to be careful not to feed when you have this, because you can immediately empower the other team,
No.
which I think is very smart. Like this
Omega's
mechanic
cooked.
could get snowbally really heavily, especially in casual play. So like, if someone's like greeting while they have aura into the other team's base and you kill them, then all of a sudden you're gonna proc your own and be able to use it to kind of make a comeback. I like that natural back and forth. I think that's pretty smart.
Actually really exciting for the future for the next titles and everything. I was thinking about this as like Splatoon 3.5 because to be honest, it's gonna be so hard, or actually here, it's gonna be so easy to tell between 11.0 and any like videos before that, because the game is just gonna be completely different. You're gonna see health bars and stuff as well, but like this just
Yeah,
for the
the guy's
aura
gonna
stuff.
be glowing.
Just for the aura though, like what?
It looks pretty cool too.
It's so
It looks
freaking
awesome.
cool. Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah, I do feel like there's some weapons that won't benefit as much from this, but so I think it's worth talking later down the line, like what this will affect, because like I think some, you know, when it comes to these kind of global changes, obviously some weapons are going to benefit more than others. So I think it really depends on what weapons want to get stuff out of this, you know, either benefit from the abilities that the proc gives, or just have tools to be able to keep flow state more consistently, right?
There's one
So
other thing.
that's kind of what I think.
It's
about.
not just about the abilities to me, because I was thinking about it for Mint. Like, a lot of players are talking about S-Class being able to paint its own feet when it gets a kill. Mint doesn't have burst bomb to paint its own feet. If I get a kill and my feet get painted, that sounds amazing. And stuff like that for very low mobility weapons, just, oh, that's going to be great. Let's have like V-rollers.
And that'll charge your special too, I think, a little, right? I
Does
didn't
it,
see that count.
Does it also paint your feet for assists, or?
No, just for
don't
kills,
know.
I think.
Just kills? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like a pretty sizable chunk, too.
It's a
Yeah.
lot.
And Omega, you talked about potentially using this with Ninja Squid, which I think wasn't talked about a whole lot either, because Ninja Squid normally doesn't work with Cooler since it gives away your location, but Aura does not have this effect. You can still be stealthy with it, so you can now have high mobility with Ninja Squid, which is actually new.
It's going to be peak. Yeah, I'm very excited to try that.
Rollers everywhere.
Ninja Squid roller.
Yeah, and they buff Roller too!
Ninja Squid 52.
They buff
yeah.
roller?
Yeah, Roller got buffed. It's a little faster. We'll get there.
What?
Bro didn't read the patch notes before
Only the
this.
roller player.
I asked what weapons they changed. You didn't tell me that?
You didn't read the patch notes?
No.
It's 8
Wait,
p.m.
why
You just gave me
Oh,
this notes.
This is a surprise to Shadow though.
Yes, but bro, what do you mean?
Shadow is
Then
having
you
all
put
these
roller
judgmental
52?
takes on the
Oh.
patch, and he didn't even know what got changed yet.
What do you mean fight roller 52? We are the roller 52.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on.
We?
We?
Yes,
What?
we
We?
are the Roller 52.
Oh nah. Nah.
But yeah. Basil,
Yeah.
do you have any thoughts on Aura from like a backline POV? Because I think Splylings benefit a lot, but it might be a little more questionable for other anchor weapons on if they're going to really benefit from this. So do you think this is something that is just straight up bad for anchor weapons, or are you still looking forward to having this perk?
As a Charger player, I don't think I'll make much use of this flow state, hardly at all. But like you said before, edit benefits a lot from it. From like having Cooler and like Aura constantly up. And assist refreshing the auras or whatever the fuck.
It's so weird to talk about, I know.
So you just have
point.
way more mobility throughout the entire match, basically. And I think that'll help that weapon out a lot. But as for like one-shot chargers, I think it'll mainly be Omega and Nolan getting a lot out of that. Not so much myself.
I
Welcome
think
back Basil Ballpoint.
you could
No.
proc it a lot though, personally, because I feel like Charger will be someone who takes out Aura players on the other team quite frequently. So there's a chance you could just
Honestly-
proc it off of that a lot.
This is true.
You proc it
but
once. Oh my days.
It's not as essential for me to have
Yeah.
Aura since I'm not as mobile as the others.
Yeah.
You're gonna be more mobile, so
It
it'll
might
be,
just-
easy,
I
it'll be
think it
harder
just-
for people to kill you. 'cause
Yeah,
you'll
it'll
run
make it
faster.
really hard to take down a leader when it has like
Ooh, IA on my
when it has like Ecres and swim speed and it's just running
scrumptious
around.
indeed.
It also could be useful for Charger, actually, like real talk, on maps like Crab Leg where you're on grates a lot, because the run speed
Ooh.
would help you a lot with positioning. So I think on maps like
This
Crab
is
Leg it might
true.
actually be a little more
Charger's-
important.
Charger's points for specials did get buffed. So
That and on
yeah.
Rainmaker it has
Yeah.
to be crazy, right? For grabbing Rainmaker, you get the run, swim, and res.
Hmm.
Like, having like
Good
an
thing we
aura
don't have to
player
play that
driving-
mode ever again.
yeah,
Never.
yeah.
Looks into the camera.
Looks
Season 2.
All right. Do we have any wrap up
What?
thoughts on aura for now, though? Do we have anything we want to add?
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, Basil's aura maxing.
I
so
think it's
needed.
just.
let me
I
and
think
Nolan
it's
have it.
cool. Like I think it adds to the playmaking power. I think it's fun for viewers to watch. I think it's gonna like make the game.
Oh.
It's something that I think will just make the game feel more fun. Like whether you benefit a lot or a little bit, it just adds to plays that you'll get, and I think that's gonna be cool. And I like the idea
That was
again
a-
of like highlighting playmakers, like not just for the playmakers themselves, but also if you take out someone who has that effect, you're going to feel better than taking out a normal player, right? You're gonna feel like you're killing the MVP of the other team. I think that's a really cool idea.
Psychology
Yeah,
of Splatoon.
That's
Exactly.
that's something I made a post about. Was like, I think also
Bro.
part of this. I think part of this update, like a lot of it is just focused on like making the spectator like viewing experience better because like of the NA League, they put so much production into like these matches,
Mhm.
and like that, I think was a pretty big success.
Yeah.
So a lot of these changes, like the health bar and stuff, like are great for competitive, but also like players, but also for the viewing of like knowing like how weak someone is.
Yeah. I mean, I'd go
Yeah,
as far as to say
viewing.
this benefits
Like new
spectators
players
even more.
too.
I think spectators win the most from this change. Like, it's very easy to follow
Yeah.
who's making a
I
big
agree.
play, and
That's
it
what I said.
adds to the moment.
Like
you
playing
can
is gonna
see-
be hard, but the matches are gonna be so hype.
They're gonna be
You're gonna
so
see
cool.
who Superman is because they're gonna be glowing the whole game.
Yeah, Nolan, I get it.
And you're
we
gonna
get it.
see the roller on the spec cam like, oh wow, he's right there. How did you not see that?
Okay.
So
Dude, oh my gosh, it's just gonna be V not roller 52 ballpoint meta.
Where's ballpoint coming from? How?
Yeah,
Where,
wait.
it's a
I don't know where
crazy
you gotta have
sneak
those
to throw
weapons.
We are
ballpoint.
reaching here.
Bro.
What's ballpoint doing with all these other weapons?
We are reaching
I mean
for
it
the
might
stars.
be bow it might be bow instead, but like
I
no,
mean,
it'll
Bo
probably
gets a
just
lot
be
out of it,
pen.
yeah.
It'll probably just be pen, bro. Is pen
I-
not?
Okay, I think you're
Oh,
inflating how big this will be.
Yeah.
I think it'll be
Yeah,
nice,
I
but I don't
agree.
think it's gonna be that crazy.
Like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
yeah.
have
Pretty
when
fire
you have
weapons.
cooler,
Welcome to
aura is
Christmas.
not even going to be noticeable. Like it's
It's
only
not
going to be when
going
you don't have
anywhere.
cooler.
This is a pretty minor thing.
I think it's best for
Actually, I
like
feel
ninja
like
squid
getting
weapons or splat.
getting
weapons.
aura when you have cooler is kind of a bad thing though, because if you it doesn't change that much. You get
Yeah, you
killed,
don't
and
really
then
get
the
as
enemy
much.
team will have aura.
Yeah, like it doesn't really benefit you as much if you like have cooler because it's all the same effect, so it'll probably not be noticeable at all if you have cooler plus
Yeah.
that effect.
It should give you damage up. I'm gonna say it. It should give you
All right,
should
let's
give you
move on. before we're
25%
more
no,
damage.
No, no,
Specifically
no,
25%.
Stop listening to
So
me.
that
Please
Mince
stop. No, no.
can do 100
Let's move
damage on the charge
No.
slash.
All
Okay,
right.
you guys.
Next. Okay, smaller, but the health bars. So we now have, thanks Windows notification, we now have health bars in the game where when you or ally or you deal damage to the opponent, you'll now be able to see the health bars on the map. That's pretty interesting. That'll be something where you can keep track of players' health. And also, if players are located via effects like Thermalink and Ninja Squid, you can see them even if they're behind walls, which is pretty interesting, right? So, I don't think this is a huge change. It feels like a quality of life thing, but I do think, I mean, it looks a little strange, admittedly, but I think we'll get
Just
used
don't
to
like
it.
how it looks.
I mean, it's probably just because it's really foreign right now. Like, I feel like we'll get adjusted to how this looks with time. But
I think it also just part of it. Like I like the change as a competitor, but also I'm a little sad because like it's been this way for like over 10 years, and it was like
Yeah.
part of what made Splatoon like really unique was like not having this.
Mhm.
So I think it loses a little bit of its identity,
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
I mean for like the viewer and competitive side, like I think it's a good change. Like knowing exactly, but also I can't lie now. I used to lie to everyone all the time.
You
dude.
are infuriating, by the way. Like,
Oh, I hit him. He's weak. I didn't hit him at all, and I completely missed. But it's to get like
you just give
to
me
get
fake
Omega to help me
confidence.
fight. Like,
Yeah, you don't need to say that. Don't make me
Wow.
help you fight. I'm gonna be there anyways.
That
Is
sounds
just
more
fine if
urgent.
I'm-
10 years with no health bars and they add them now is like really strange. It's good for a viewer perspective, but like there's a certain skill that comes with knowing if someone's weak or not, just based off of like audio cues and everything. It just feels like it'll help new players, but the players that have been playing for 10 years, it's just like a
Yeah. Doesn't really matter.
train
Yeah.
wheels sort of thing
I
removed.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat where like
It's just
I
literally
built
training
up this
wheels for new
muscle
players.
memory to
Okay.
know like how damaged an enemy is, how much damage they've taken, how much damage I can do with my own main gun. And
Like if I
yeah.
know I hit them 3 times with a ballpoint fall off, like I know they're X weak, but now you just literally see it. So
Okay, but
It's also
see,
just funny how you don't have your own health bar that you can see.
See, I have the perspective of someone who plays inconsistent damage weapons my entire career. If I shoot someone with Umbrella, I have no idea how much damage I'm doing. So this might be a little helpful for some weapons that have like
skill gap.
less clear damage indicators. All right, you play the same class, buddy. We have the same problem.
No, I play 10. That's the same thing.
You have like commands in your chat
every time you miss a one
over
punch.
reacting to how little damage you did. Like now you'll actually know how much damage you're doing with something like Umbrella. Right, Blaster AoE, same deal. You'll know if you get like a higher damage shot or anything. But yeah, I agree with Basil though. I think it's mostly lower level when fights are slower and things are more dragged out is when you'll have more time to use that information. I think at a higher level you might have less time to really pay attention to a health bar when you're like shooting the opponent with a bunch of damage near you. So I think it's a quality of life thing. I don't think it changes too much. There might be a few instances where like maybe a charger going for like a partial and they can tell if someone's weak and they don't need to full charge their weapon, or Brella damage like I mentioned, brushes, stuff like that that are less consistent could benefit a little bit, but I feel like this is a very, very small change to say the least.
It's
Do
a
we
training
know-
wheels change.
No,
It's
wait,
fine.
time out though. Do we know if the health bars, like, can you see them through walls? Because you know how you
Only if
can
they're marked.
If they're marked
Okay.
that you can.
Ah, okay. Because I was thinking about like how you can see players on the map if they get hit by one of your teammates, you can just see them.
Mhm.
So I was thinking okay, it might be similar, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm curious of the scope of that because I feel like that could be interesting with comms, but if it only happens when it's marked, then yeah, it doesn't really affect the higher levels of play as
Yeah.
much.
I mean, it affecting marked stuff is cool. It's like a nice way to indirectly buff like thermal or point sensor
Yeah, I
incline,
like
stuff
that.
like that. Like it makes the location like a little bit more valuable in a unique way because it also allows you to get more info on the opponent's HP when they're moving around the map. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, buff.
Now, can we see our teammate's special charge on the top of the screen too? That would be nice.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean definitely. If Bo
Wouldn't that be
uses
nice?
thermal, then it has to
Me
be
just
for
straight up
thermal.
lying all the time.
I'm not gonna have it. I'm not gonna have it.
All right,
Wait.
so
wait,
Like,
hold
just
on, hold on.
throw two
Okay.
burst bombs and you'll have it.
all right, are we done with the health bars here? We got a little more to say.
Yeah, I think it's just. I don't like how it looks right now, but I'll get used to it. I
Yeah,
guess.
well, you're
I'm
picking
just
the wrong
not
stuff.
like too enthusiastic about the idea of more visual clutter. I feel like there's already a lot going on, and like,
True.
am I really gonna pay attention to a health bar? Probably
Ooh.
not.
True, but
I'd love a
also
toggle.
the
I
health
hope
bars
there's a
were in the
toggle.
first clip Splatoon JP posted, and I think barely anyone noticed they were even in the clip until they were pointed out later. Like I did
Really?
not notice them
Ah.
at all until I saw health bars pointed out.
What? You didn't see them?
Not until the clip describing health bars. I mean, the first clip where they talked about the flow state, I did not notice that people had health bars in that clip. at
I
all.
noticed.
Okay, well maybe I'm
That's
just
a lot
I'm
of
not a
blind.
clutter.
YouTuber, bro. This
Maybe
is
this
Yeah,
is
I'm
my- maybe this is just
I'm
me.
with Chara on this. I woke up. To be fair, I woke up at like 6:10 to a
Yeah, I
DM
was up
like,
at,
yo,
like,
bro,
5
they
a.m.
added
too.
health bars to Splatoon, and I'm like, what?
Mhm.
And then I looked at the tweet, and I'm like, wait, what?
Okay,
I
let's...
woke up to a DM like, bro, they added health bars to Splatoon, and I'm just like, you're lying.
Yeah, I got DM saying they added aura, and I'm like, what on earth are you talking about? What does this mean? Okay, so we have hitbox sizes, and the devs actually talked quite a lot about this, which I will reaffirm here. The devs basically said that people got really good at gyro controls and hitting people, and so Squid Form wasn't as good at dodging attacks as it used to be, and also people were getting hit around corners and ledges. And so they've had this change idea for a while and waited until updates slowed down, not stopped. Apparently that's a mistranslation, right? So they waited until updates slowed down, and then they changed it. So Kid Form is unchanged, sort of. We'll get to that. But Squid Form, as you can see, has a noticeably smaller hitbox. And can I just say, before we get into the specifics, dude, that Squid Form hitbox looks like so bullshit before the patch. Like, that's
Squid
so...
Form is chunky.
Look at that!
Dumb.
It's chunky.
I can't even fathom how many sets I've lost because of how freaking giant the squid
About how
is.
huge
It does not look accurate at all. It's like twice the
Yeah,
size of your squid. Like, that's
Holy
such
cow.
bullshit. Right? So, okay.
Yeah, I cannot believe that either.
So before we even talk about it, they also did changes to main weapons. So they gave main weapons slightly larger attack sizes. So very short range weapons like spray shooters, probably doppeldooley stuff like that, have a much easier time hitting human form and a slightly harder time hitting squid form. Once you get to like splatter shot range, you have a slightly easier time against human form and a slightly harder time against squid form. And when you get to the range of the E-liter 4K scope, we'll get there. Squid form are, most difficult. You don't get as much of a hitbox increase, but humans are easier to hit. So kid forms across the board are easier to hit. When people are standing and firing, they are easier to hit because even though the hitbox is the same, the weapon's damage is a little bit larger. In squid form, it's a little bit smaller to the point where even with the larger hitbox sizes, even for weapons like Junior, hitting squid form is slightly harder, right? And then as you go down in range value, right? Which makes sense to me, because obviously short range is very, underpowered right now. Mid and long range are doing quite well, so that makes sense to me. But overall, the changes, squid form is harder to hit, kid form is easier to hit. How do we feel?
Good change. I like it.
Good change.
It makes the game it makes the game more mechanically demanding, which just raises the skill 4, which I, as a competitor, right, this value. I like high skill weapons, like high skill gameplay. That's what feels most rewarding to me. You play decav. I prefer things that benefit aggression and just rewarding skill.
Mm-hmm.
So making things harder to hit will make it feel more rewarding, and it makes the game harder, which I like. So
yeah,
I think it's
See
overdue.
how it feels in game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if I start whiffing every single shot, then I hate it.
I personally like that the dynamic is more clear, because it's always supposed to be the case where you're supposed to try to hit people when they're in human form, and not squid form. It's harder, but now it feels like it's more of a staple mechanic where you're now going to be rewarded more for looking for those timing windows when people are outside of their movement capabilities, and I think that's a little bit interesting. And I'm sure we're going to talk about how it affects weapons in different ways, because there's a lot of them where it comes to that. But in particular, I think that we've had a bit of an issue with AoE being very strong or long range being very strong in this game. And I think this is an interesting way to change it, because weapons that are slower, that will have to spend more time in human form, include a lot of these AoE weapons, like blasters and buckets, are standing a lot more than something like a shooter. So these weapons have an easier time hitting opponents because of AoE, but now as a downside, they are going to be easier to shoot back, and the opponents they're shooting at are going to have smaller hitboxes as they can move around. So I've seen some people say it's an AoE buff, and I can see that perspective because, it's harder to hit people, and AoE gives you a way to do that. But I think you can also look at it as, these AoE weapons are now also easier targets on the map to take out with their slower mobility. So again, it emphasizes the strengths and weaknesses a little bit more on how you're supposed to counterplay these types of weapons, and I think that's very interesting. It does hit some weapons that maybe didn't deserve it, but we'll get to that in a second. So I think this is enough to start with for now.
I think it's neat. I like the idea of, I'm usually playing weapons that play under ledges. So if I go into squid form, the top of my head is less likely to get, smacked, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And that would tend to be from the AoE guns.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting because I feel like, are we talking about E-liter stuff? Because this relates to.
You can mention leader, yeah.
If since E-liter's change is going to be that it's going to be easier to hit into kid form players. I feel like a lot of Charger's main targets tend to be the lower mobility guns. So if AoE is such a big problem, Chargers are going to have an easier time killing the biggest problem in the game. And I think that's interesting. It gives more, more interesting matchups. Or so it makes the power dynamics in the matchups less polarizing for all the S-blasts in the world. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Basil, what do you think? I know you've had a lot of thoughts of this over the day. Where are you landing right now?
When I first saw these changes this morning, I was not really a fan because obviously this hurts long-range weapons more than short or mid-range, in my opinion. But as time goes on, I would rather have something like this than just nerfing my main weapon just straight up.
Mhm.
Like, this feels like a interesting way to like keep the game fresher and add a bit of challenge to it. I still think it's pretty funny that the devs were basically like, people are a bit too good. Let's fix that real quick. Let's fix that real quick.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'll really just have to see how it feels in game. I think with time people will get used to this, like
Mhm.
in like however long that may be over the span of a couple months probably, or maybe even faster than that. But I'm fine with this change. I'm pretty good with it. It helps a bunch of weapons out that have been struggling and like makes long range a bit less oppressive, which if I'm being completely honest, some long range weapons were getting a bit out of hands. Like
Yeah.
pen and leader.
Mhm.
Like this is a good change that like doesn't really hurt either of those that much, but you'll still like notice it, of course. Just
Honestly,
kind of bring the power level like closer together, if that makes sense.
yeah, I agree. I think it'll be a little more noticeable with Pen because you'll have more time to react and get into squid form when you have to be shot twice. So I feel like Pen will more often have to be landing their second shot on the smaller hitbox, which should be a little interesting. There's kind of two
Yes.
other main classes that I feel we're talking about. The first one I want to mention is I think this is also an indirect support nerf because support weapons obviously are going to be standing and turfing a lot, and while they're painting, to try to hold a zone or something, they are also going to be larger targets than they would normally be. And this especially hurts slower supports. Like, for example, we've seen a lot of VAC 96, which has a notoriously slow strafe speed. So now it is also going to be easier to shoot that weapon. But even more mobile weapons like Mini or Splash, if they're like painting over a zone, are now going to be easier to take out across the stage. So we've seen continual nerfs to support painting, and I think this is a good example of that, where weapons that need to be painting a lot will spend a lot more time standing. So even these more mobile weapons, if they're more support oriented, are going to have a little bit harder of a time staying alive in these kind of more chaotic fights. And I think that added risk factor is a really good thing in this case. Because support painting zone really lazily is kind of boring, so I think that having more risk is definitely a good thing. I don't know if we have much to add to that point.
Nah, you hit it
Yeah,
on the
I'm
head.
glad V96 is getting nerfed. I hate that gun.
Yeah.
Your life was flashing before your eyes. The idea of you playing that.
I hate that thing gone.
I guess another small thing to note is this will also affect certain special weapons. In particular, both Booyah Bomb, Ultra Stamp, and Tri-Strike all have long periods of staying in human form. Especially Tri-Strike while it's throwing its strikes. So I also like the idea of these specials being easier to punish, especially Strike. Strike should be easier to punish. That's supposed to be one of its downsides, so I like the idea that it's stuck in human form for longer and it's going to be easier to shoot down. So stuff like that for those specials is good. But let's talk about the two classes that probably get hurt the most by this change. Brushes, because they roll in human form, and Splylings that have to charge and shoot in human form. Splylings at least get a big benefit from Aura. They're possibly the best class to benefit off that. Now, Brush, on the other hand, doesn't really get much out of Aura at all. And this change hurts them more than anyone else, because their whole thing is they're trying to be mobile and not die, and now they have larger hitboxes. So I feel like this is, like, indirectly might hurt these classes a little more, and I don't know how they're gonna really balance around that kind of thing, but yeah, I mean, especially for, like, Ink Brush, I feel like this might be a bit harder for that.
I think it's interesting. I feel like around the higher to top level plays, a lot of the players are able to hit ink brushes either way. It'll be easier now for sure, but I think it'll help a lot for, I guess, like the people that, I guess, lower level players and middle, like with how hard ink brush is to hit. It'll be, I guess, I don't know if it would be more fair, because I feel like ink brush is already a very difficult weapon, but it'll be easier. I think the weapon will. I think the weapon will still be good, and the hitbox change might not be that crazy. It could just be placebo. I know the squid form one is pretty massive, but we'll have to see how it feels for the ink brush players after.
Yeah,
I never
we
even
have
thought
to
about
see
those things
exactly
yet.
what that'll be.
I wish they gave us like numbers for like
Yeah.
what range value is getting what size increase.
I mean, that's a problem throughout
I
this.
figured
Like,
that
Aura
was
is
in
the
the
same
patch,
thing.
but-
We don't know exactly how much Aura how like the procking works and everything. So it's stuff we're gonna have to figure out when things launch, which is why I want to definitely do like a more main channel focused analysis later when I can get my hands on a little bit of numbers other than it slightly increases your ability to proc. What does that mean? Right? But I mean,
Yeah, they always use slightly.
I feel this was a necessary change for the game the more I think about it, though. Like, evasive maneuvers and the dynamic between the two forms in the game and balancing around shorter range versus long range. This feels like a long-term problem this game has had, and it feels like this is kind of a natural solution to keep the original identity of the game intact as people get better and better at it over time. So I think it's interesting, for sure. But
The first time
we'll
I'm
see.
sitting behind a wall and I don't blow up behind it when someone shoots me, I'll pop off.
Dude, you just reminded me. People are still going to be standing behind the tower pole on tower control, and I don't even know if you should do that anymore. Now you might get sniped behind the wall still because you're a little bit larger. You might have to be
That
squid
was-
form behind it now.
That was like the first thing I thought of when I saw this change, is how like people would just dance behind the tower pole in human form, and it was pretty hard for chargers to hit that sometimes.
Yeah. who would do
Isn't
that?
squid form still thicker though, like wider?
No.
So
It
it's still good.
should be.
It'd be easier.
I think
Like,
it's still wider.
swim form is still.
I think
it's
it's still wider
wider
than human form, but I'm not entirely sure.
I think it'll just be easier on human form straight up, but squid form
because you're taller.
doesn't. Squid form still wouldn't be the optimal thing to do on tower
Yeah, maybe not.
anyway, so it'll just be easier.
Maybe the strat is to squid bag behind the tower. Who knows?
That's definitely not it. You.
I
be
also
yelling at
thought
us if we
you're
did
so
that.
I also
wrong.
thought of something else real quick. The slightly larger human form hitbox will also hurt vacuum, because vacuum sometimes blocks, even if you're on the sides of it, it feels like. Like, its absorption hitbox is very generous. That might happen less often as well, which I think is good. It's been a little dumb sometimes.
Yeah.
I have clips of shooting vacuum, like, in the back with a 96, and it absorbs it, and it's so stupid. Like, I think that's... if that does change that, then good. Because vac is fine right now. It's obviously, like, pretty strong with the HP change, so... That's another like quality of life one that I really like being changed. All right, do we have any final thoughts on the hitbox stuff, or is it just we gotta wait and see at this
Dude,
point?
Mint is unplayable now. I can't charge flash at people, dude. I'll be in human form. It's unplay. I can't play
Yeah,
it anymore.
true,
Like,
we
I
can
need
kill
to drop
Mints
it right
more.
now.
We kill Mints and
True.
dash more.
I think
Please don't.
I think I just thought about that when you talked about Ink Brush though, is that Mint would definitely be worse dash slashing and everything, but it's probably its worst quality. A lot of like dash slashing towards someone, it'll be harder to retreat while dash slashing, which is major. But even though it'll be easier to punish Mint players, I feel like Mint probably gets affected the least while attacking other players. So even though it's definitely gonna hurt it, it probably will be stronger just because everything else got weaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you just gain a couple pounds when you go into good form. Like,
All right.
not too crazy.
So stealth jump change, and I made a video talking about this idea for a stealth nerf like 7 days ago. It's actually crazy that this happened. But stealth jump is now getting, it's not exactly the same, but it is similar, where stealth jump is now slower, exclusively in the air, depending on how far away you jump. So if you are jumping from spawn to get in, it'll take a while, or if you're jumping to teammates who are further away, and it takes noticeably longer. Like, this looks like it's at least like 20% for this short a distance change. And it also means, like, if your team is holding advantage, and you're really far up the map and you're regrouping, it's going to be taking you longer and longer. So regroups are going to be harder with stealth jump the further away that you are. And the thing is, I think stealth jump is still a very mandatory ability for most weapons. I don't think this changes that. But I think because of that, this makes regrouping, especially on advantage, a bit slower and a bit more punished. And it also makes cooler QSJing to teammates a little bit harder as well, because it's more time for the enemy team to react and be ready for that landing. So I like this change personally, because I think cooler quick super jump. I mean, that's why I did the video on it, right? It's a little overtuned. I think this is an interesting way to nerf it, and a lot of the changes we've talked about have helped frontline weapons, right? So here's our little trade-off, right? These short-range weapons definitely are the main ones that lose out when it comes to this change, right? Compared to anchor weapons or more defensive weapons that don't necessarily need to be jumping around. Yeah, I mean, do we have any thoughts on this, Shadow?
This
No.
Shadow, you got that.
Well, I got nothing, bro. Like, you're gonna see, like,
Head empty.
you're just gonna see like a wiper jump in. You still can't camp its jump. You're gonna see more like backlines just abusing the fact that they're a back and still giving jumps in. Just makes it harder to sustain. And then beacons are still just super OP. You're gonna keep seeing Dapple.
Mhm.
Like Dapple has been OP. And it's you can't really camp the Dapple jump. It has beacons. It is cooler. Like
If I
beacons are
can,
just
if I can
OP
offer a
on hold.
counterpoint, Shadow. I think like one thing we're underestimating because this doesn't look that much slower, right? And I think a lot of us are like, oh, it doesn't matter, the measure won't change. I've watched a lot of comp games from overhead. People jump in and jump out a lot, even if it like takes like
regroup
half
and
a second slower per player. There's probably like 50 plus jumps happening a game. That amount of time is going to add up to a lot more downtime where you're not affecting the game than I think people realize. Like, I think it is genuinely going to slow down a lot of aggressive momentum, especially for teams, again, that are in advantage in having this penalty. So, like, even if it seems small on paper, I think in practice this is going to actually be a much more impactful change than people are realizing just because
it's
so frequent. And if you run, like, beacons and stuff like that, then it's probably only going to happen more often.
yeah,
like-
but if you're running beacons with like a no stealth comp, like imagine you're a wiper playing full QR because you just don't die on landing anyways, or like a dually with no stealth, just jumping into beacons or front space. I don't know. But if
I
you're
mean,
running
if
like a
that's the meta,
stealth
that'd be
comp
crazy.
and if you're trying to regroup with a stealth comp, like you're just gonna see a lot like less pushing because if you push forwards and die, it's like more punishing.
Mhm.
So guess what we're gonna see? We're gonna see more sharking. We're gonna see less pushing forwards, and we're gonna see more sharking 52s and rollers everywhere.
Maybe.
Yes.
I think you're delusional.
I
He
think
plays
I
Zexing
think
to most of us, so
I think, okay, if we're doing all that, then we're not taking as much forward space and our holds aren't going to be as strong. If we die because we're sitting back instead of pushing forward, we're not going to have as much space. It's like, I think,
It's
yeah,
true.
maybe that could happen, but I think that has its own trade-offs. And I think that's what makes this interesting is there's a little bit more of a dynamic between it. And I think there also needed to be a little bit of balance in this, so it's cool. I'm curious to see
the
what will happen.
whole update is like promoting like aggressive like behavior, and like this is just I feel like directly just as a result of cooler jumps being super strong.
Yeah, I agree.
So promoting that aggressive gameplay while promoting the aggressive special, but toning back like the most blatantly like egregious part of that special, like the instant jump outs, like was
Yeah,
such a problem.
Cooler
And I think
QHJ
this
is the
is the
most
best way
unhealthy
to-
thing ever of time.
This is the best way to work that back without
Mhm.
like having to nerf the special.
Oh my god.
I don't think that really. I was thinking about it more when I was thinking about changing my gear and I was looking back at the footage and everything. A lot of the cooler QSJ stuff usually goes to a teammate, and the teammate is usually close by. If the initial jump part is the same and the jumping in the air depends on how far the teammate is, and if the teammate is still close by, it's still going to be very good. I most of the time jumping back to spawn is the problem, or like missed input that people shouldn't be doing. So I feel like that really, I guess I'd like the more optimal jump and stuff that's gonna stay the same, where they don't jump out to spawn and they jump to teammates, won't really change. So I don't really see it as
I know what
big
you
of a
mean,
nerf.
and I agree for like jumping to teammates, but it's also like I need to see like at what distance does it become longer.
I mean, this is
Yeah.
not a large gap between these two players, and the distance is already a lot. Because you got to remember, the jump time to this player is exactly the same. It's this tiny part that's adding all the distance, and it's adding a lot of travel time to the jump, right? So,
But usually,
Yeah.
outside of the original player, the two players that he's choosing to jump to, that distance between those two players is usually the distance between me and like Basil. So like I jump back to Basil from that distance. Is it gonna change that much? And most of the time, not even most of the time, like maybe like half the time I'll jump to either Nolan or Shadow, like all together, which will be even like that won't be noticeable. If that isn't that big of a heal. And I don't know, because I like the downtime being higher and everything. I kind of don't. I don't know about the time traveling though, because some weapons can camp these wiper and dually jump ins, but the way that most weapons camp them were with bombs, and you can't react to putting a suction bomb that early. And even splat bombs are a little bit suspect if the timing is so strange.
Yeah.
So that'll also accidentally buff those weapons. They'll just come in with basically no problem if the enemy team doesn't have a specific weapon that can counter it, or more so if that weapon isn't close by that jump, so that jump just gets in. The way to counter it just isn't there.
Even if it's not like a perfect fix for like close cooler jumps, I think it's still like people do jump out, like, and also just for like general like state of the game, like it punishes you for having to go a long distance, which I think is just healthy for the game.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
But I think it should have been time off the ground instead of time in the air.
I mean,
Yeah,
that would be
I
a
don't know,
much
it's-
larger change, I feel, because that would affect the ability to super jump out and how that feels.
yeah. That's
So-
still kind of a core part of Splatoon 3 as well, even though it's like a really broken part of it.
I wish they
Kinda-
adjusted it a little bit. I wish it was made a little bit slower to leave the ground, because I think 20 frames with cooler is still a little ridiculous, but I think this is still... I'm fine with this for now. This still addresses the problem in a way that I think, like, if they want to do this and see how the changes work, then I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we good on all these? Because that is it. We can get to the patch now. The specific buffs and nerfs that we have to look at. We ready?
Yeah, man.
All right, let's start with the poor L3 nozzle nose. No! L3's shots will now take 1 frame less to reach their maximum effective range. I think it's 3 frames instead of 4 frames from the little bit of math that I saw. And in
5%.
exchange, you have 15% less paint.
Bruh.
So I think we can all agree that's a bad trade, like statistically.
Yeah, that
Horrible trade.
weapon is gone. That weapon was already
Yeah.
gone.
I mean, L3 is cooked because its best kit is just the same kit as Mini, and it just
Yeah.
is not as good at Mini.
Yep.
And I like...
Yep.
Here's the thing. I do like the direction of this change, because I don't want L3 to be a paint spammer, and like, you might be able to point out like, oh, it's because, the hammer changed and stuff in this game. I remember L3 spamming ballers to the point where I got 220p in S2. This has been a problem for a long time. Like, L3 being too good at paint spamming and special spamming has been a thing forever, right? It's not, like, a new problem. L3 has been, like, for the most part, unhealthy playstyle-wise, outside of when L3D was good, which had a perfect kit and damage up in order to make that happen, right? And even then it didn't last. So it's like, this weapon clearly needs a shift in direction to progress forward in any way. I think this is a good start to that, but I wish they did more changes alongside it. Like, I would like to see the weapon strafe faster, or have, like, no jump RNG, or a little more range, or, like, something like that to compensate if they want to go this direction. In particular, I like the idea of promoting, like, more of a movement focus between the weapon. I like this mobility better in S1, where its strafe speed varied between when it was firing and when it wasn't, compared to now, but... we'll see. I think, like, long-term, this could be the start of a healthier direction, but for now, it takes a weapon that's already down, and it just hurts it even more, so that's a bit of a shame.
It needs
I
more
think they
buffs.
see it as a buff.
You see it as a
I
buff?
think they see it as a buff. I think they
doubt
see it as a
it
buff.
That's insane to see it as a buff. I don't know.
The only thing it was good at was painting, and then Mini does painting better, so they tried to make its painting worse to make it fight better, but the problem is, if you're trying to make the weapon fight better, it's competing with S-Blast, Mint, Wiper, 52 Gal,
I mean,
Stamper,
I'd say even
Slaughter.
Vimy fights better than it, no? Like, Vimy with Burst Bombs fights
Yeah.
better with L3 than Burst, I think.
Like, it's so cooked. Like,
Yeah.
my goodness.
I'm for it.
I mean, I should just make a 52 build now.
Where are we getting our 52s from? Like, it's not that crazy. I don't think 52 is gonna change that
In
much.
solo queue, it will be.
It's still a little bit annoying. Yeah, in a
Minimum
team
will
setting, I don't think
increase-
so. I don't think it changes much. in a
Increase
team
the
setting.
inking amount consumed by horizontal and vertical swings by 17%.
Yeah, so let's explain Dynamo.
This guy
Dynamo.
hasn't seen any of the patches.
Dude, he's like, you're reading ahead. You're spoilers.
Yeah,
yo.
we're going one at a
Spoiler.
time, Shadow. Hold on. I know you didn't read this earlier, but it's 8 p.m. You had all day to do that. That's on you. You gotta go with us now.
This is the one after L3.
Okay, so Dynamo is getting He's getting 5 changes technically because it applies to both flicks, right? So Dynamo's horizontal and vertical are going to paint more. And this isn't like the change you got last time where its paint was more consistent, but it technically painted less. This is more paint on both flicks. And its 100 damage range is higher on both flicks. Again, right? So Dynamo kills further away and it paints more. In exchange, Dynamo is going to have the ink consumption it did back in S1, meaning it will have only 5 flicks, and you won't be able to get an extra flick as easily with 1 sub of Inksaver main. So you're actually going to have to stack like a Pure of ISM or something to get Dynamo to the efficiency that it's at right now. So it is going to be more ink hungry. But I don't care, man. It needed to paint the floor. It can paint the floor. I'm so happy.
I think it's a good trade-off.
I think it's going to be... I think this is going to be a good weapon. Like, this is a support that has a lot of AoE power. It does minimum 40 damage.
Okay, let's
I
call
think
it.
we're getting a bit
That's a little crazy. That's a little crazy.
Let's see what the change actually looks like.
No. I think Chara's
Okay.
right. I did not. You all remember how much I hated Carbon Roller horizontal flick, and now we're like accustomed to Carbon Roller's horizontal flick already getting buffed and how broken it is now. Like this thing happening to Dynamo, I feel like it being a bad weapon into it being a good to it being a good weapon would. I feel like that's pretty reasonable. I feel like that's.
Well, I say that because like it could be like not as big as you're thinking. So I'm saying wait to
No,
see.
hold on,
Because
Nolan.
it's probably a big change because of the big number that they
Let me
changed.
tell you right now, Dynamo was already like a big hitbox, and they just increased it a lot. This is basically this. I'm getting the same vibes as the hammer buff.
Okay,
Well,
let
the
me
hitbox is
clarify.
the
This
same.
is not a bigger
The hitbox
hitbox.
is the
It's
same.
just the 100
Yeah.
damage zone is
The
larger
fall
on the
off.
hitbox.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
But the hitbox
But
itself
like,
is
it's
not
akin
changed.
to that to me.
Mhm.
Like, this
Not
thing's
even
gonna
the
be
same.
killing way
Put me on
more.
Dynamo.
Yeah.
not even close
No.
to the same, bro.
I think like in general, having AoE is very important in a comp. S-Blast is, as we'll see later down the line, nerfed a bit. AoE is not as easy to run. And we've even seen a little bit of Triaslosher Nouveau and weapons like Bow for, you know, the main perk of having AoE on more options. Now we have a mid-range cooler weapon with giant AoE that now can actually get coolers properly. This is a 190 cooler weapon right here. It's pretty cheap for its special. It just hasn't painted before, but now it can actually get that special. That opens up a lot. I don't think it's good with Pen, because I don't think you want to play the other 2 Dynamos as much. But I think it's really good with Rapid and Bow would be what I think of initially, right? Because, you know, synergy with the AoE on both of those options, and Rapid has the mobility, and Bow has turf output that will not overlap with Dynamo Roller, specifically, right? And both of these weapons could be very nasty at comboing with each other. So I think, like, the competitors to Chargers, you know, the competitors to Pen and E-Leader that we're seeing right now probably benefit the most from this option. Like if you run Whale, Rapid, or Incline Bow, I feel like there's a lot of benefit to playing it with a roller like this that has the ability to play like that. But you would definitely need to have the field have enough paint power, you know, to... You still need to have a lot of room for the Dino to paint. The other thing I'd say, and I know I'm rambling a bit, in S1, when Dynamo flicked at you and you didn't die, it painted everywhere around you and it made it harder to move. Dynamo has not had that capability since. So I think people also underestimate how much that will help in combat. Because now, even if you don't die to the Dynamo, you're much more likely to get turfed over and have your movement restricted after that. So I think it's also interesting.
Yeah, you said other 2 Dynamos, and I really forgot that there was a third kit.
Yeah, we have
I've never seen it.
we have the kit with
Forgot
no
about Undercover
weaknesses,
too,
remember?
Yeah, you said other 2, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah,
there's
there's-
gold,
there's
there's
another one.
regular, and
Yeah. Basil, you had something to say for a bit. What did you want to say about
Wait, it's
Dynamo?
point sensor whale, right?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
the
broken.
kit has no weaknesses. No
Oh,
clear
it's
weaknesses.
actually good.
No, it's
Y'all
not.
have terrible.
good.
Y'all
No,
have
it's
terrible
not.
takes, Basil. You got it.
What?
Basil,
Well, I didn't even say anything.
let's get real for a minute. What do we think of the Dynamo?
bad show.
Play more
I've
Dynamo.
been
Yes. Play more Dynamo. Yes, you should do that. You right there. Yes, you. You
Me?
should play Dynamo.
Okay, I'll play Dynamo.
No.
Got it. I'm
Not
playing
you.
it tomorrow. Thank
Not
you.
you, bro.
Yeah, I'm playing it tomorrow now. We'll use it
Not
in
you,
the
bro.
PB. Thank you.
In
Yeah.
all seriousness, I don't know how much it'll do. I think it'll move up like a tier, or maybe like 2 at most. At most.
Agreed.
So, like, we'll have to
Yeah, you're
see just how
Alright.
much it'll be in game.
I think it's gonna have to fit into a right comp. Like the Rapidator bow stuff has to be correct, for this to work. It can't just work on its own. It has to enable other weapons, to work with it. In particular, not having pen and not working with the leader means your top 2 anchors aren't synergistic with this. So it's really got to be good at enabling these other options. Rapid and bow are both probably better after this patch. So like I gravitate towards those as potential options, but it's something where we're gonna have to see for sure. We're gonna have to see exactly how much these numbers are. And we'll figure that out tomorrow. Yeah. So, yeah.
Alright, let's rattle through these next few.
Alright, Blaster is getting 2 frames less end lag. So this is now 9 frames since it got added to Splatoon 2, by the way.
Nobody cares.
I think this...
I know someone who cares.
I think this matters. I think this
Okay,
matters.
but, like-
I'm gonna be real. I think it does. That's a big buff.
Shout out Len. He's having a great day.
Oh yeah, Len
Next.
is,
Let's go,
Len is
Len.
the greatest.
Len is having an
Like,
amazing time today.
I only care about this
He's having a
change
great day.
because
Next
Len is the
weapon.
greatest.
No one cares.
This weapon
like,
is going to
Len
be
is-
fast. It's going to be stupid fast.
I
21
think
frames
they're
of end
I
lag
think
on a
they're
Blaster.
underrated.
is
Play
insane.
Blaster! Play Blaster, please! Please!
I also want to say, this is the Blaster but that benefits from Aura the most, because it has the worst jump RNG out of all Blasters. It's the only one that has 10 degrees of jump RNG. And now we have a new ability where it can get rid of that problem. And it can take advantage of the mobility more. I don't know, like, I think there's high potential in this, if it's fighting closer range comps. So, I'm curious. I also think tower control, the bubble option, is very strong. So, I could see it.
I mean,
Custom Blaster will be a
C-Blast in
solo queue
TC was
demon.
already stupid, but
Yeah.
C-Blast will be a solo queue demon, though, with
yeah,
rocking your
C-Blast is
ability.
so
Splashdown.
Yeah.
I will be playing that in solo queue.
That will be
I
I will
will
too.
be
I will
playing
too.
that.
C-Blast will be so fun in solo. Oh yeah, there's also Crab Blaster. I forgot about Crab Blaster. Yeah, I don't care about Crab Blaster. I'm sorry.
No.
I don't think
No.
that's perfect.
To be honest, it was already a good weapon. We've seen it in like competitive play already, so obviously it isn't a troll. I just mean that I don't think this change will make it that crazy. I do like what he said about Aura though, but I feel like that's unrelated.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be
Yeah.
amazing, but I think it'll be easier to like switch to this weapon. I think you'll have more reasons to pick
Yeah.
it. So
It's just overshadowed by S-Blast still. And it
Yeah.
still kind of is now.
it
which
is.
unfortunate.
We'll
Like,
have
it's
to
always
get
been
to
a
that.
good weapon. It's just S-Blast is S-Blast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true. Let's get to the fastest change. H3 does 1 more damage. I don't think we have any
Okay,
thoughts.
next.
Let's
That's
go,
sad.
H3!
All right. The Slide Roller.
Oh.
Reduce the amount of time it takes for ink to begin recovering. Oh, I read this change wrong, bro.
What? Like this is a nothing burger. I was
Yo,
so
I read
confused when
this
you were
change
saying
wrong.
that
I
it was
thought this
faster.
was a swim speed
That's it?
buff.
Yeah, I think you read it as like the same like 2 frame reduction like movement.
That would be
Oh,
great.
I have that wrong in the video.
But it's,
Roller is a ink recovery change. Oops.
Yeah, that's
spreading
not
misinformation. This is not my
Yeah,
YouTuber,
that's-
bro.
My
That's not
bad.
It's gonna help a
It's
little bit with the
huge.
curling bomb, but like Aura is just gonna paint over your feet anyways. so
I mean, I
this
think
thing is
it
gonna
benefits
become a
more.
demon.
I think it benefits more from Aura plus Ninja Squid than it does this, but this is still nice
Oh,
for just a little more
This
uptime.
weapon is
Yeah.
gonna be insane, bro.
If only
Bro,
we had a 52-gallon
what-
roller player on this
Bro,
team.
Shadow, I don't
Yeah,
know how to
don't
tell you
worry.
this. The only roller player in top level West right now that actively plays the game is on your team.
It's me. I know.
You
Oh,
don't gotta worry about
yeah,
this.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
said actively plays the game, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
because Atomic.
I thought we were-
Atomic is
I
insane,
thought-
but Atomic doesn't play the game.
Oh, yeah.
so.
I didn't realize you were talking about Atomic. I thought Nolan was trying to shit on
Atomic
Shadow.
is
Atomic-
absolutely.
Atomic
Atomic's
is-
roller
yeah.
is amazing.
I was
but I
shitting on
haven't
Shadow.
seen him around.
Oh.
Okay.
I hope Atomic
Ouch.
plays again. Roller is a really cool weapon.
Ouch.
We miss Atomic playing the game. That's so real. All right.
Yeah.
Heavy
Nice.
splatling. Heavy splatling paints better, like in 2 separate ways. This thing will be getting like 10 wave breakers a game now, which I guess will help it proc Aura, because Wave is actually pretty good at that. I think Wave indirectly is a little better this patch because, yeah, it's useful for that and it's useful for the health bars. Is it enough for Heavy to be used with a wave breaker kit? I don't know.
I'm excited. Not gonna
Kraken.
lie.
You know what?
I'm
I'm
excited.
down. V heavy supremacy. Shadow V
Maybe,
heavy.
maybe some
greatest day
maybe
ever.
some small maps it could be good on, but
Look,
I don't know.
all I'm saying is V Heavy keeps getting buffed. Like it got buffed in a patch a while back, and now it's getting 2 more big buffs, like over
Power creep.
10% each to like.
If it
two-
ever
two
gets a
paint buffs
third
there.
hit, it's gonna be
So
a mess.
like, I think it can cook on some maps.
If this thing ever gets like remixed with a Booyah or some shit, it will be OP. Like this thing will get
Oh,
like 12
that would.
Booyahs.
I would hate that. Oh my
I would
goodness.
love that.
We gotta be really
Holy
careful what
crap.
kit we give this thing in the future, because now this is getting really scary with the paint changes.
Dude,
Yeah,
if
Heavy's
Big Swing got
actually
Splashdown, Heavy can get Splashdown. I don't care.
Heavy's a pretty good option.
Yeah, I think it is, honestly. It's good for the right maps, but Wave still
Well,
holds
you're
it
gonna
back,
need the wave
admittedly.
breaker for the amount of rollers.
Yeah, we're
And the
gonna
splash
have so
wall,
many
too.
And
rollers.
52.
I'm
You are not gonna
getting
fight-
tilted now.
Any rollers?
I'm getting tilted. Bro, stop with the 52 roller nonsense.
There is no B roller.
That's literally the meta.
Big of a
No.
change.
B roller is not real. It cannot hurt you.
Every time we've said
It's so
52 is going to be the
infuriating.
meta
Well,
this
who's
time,
doing
it's
X-Ray?
been wrong!
You'll be hurt in X rank. That's different.
Ooh, Dark Tetradooley.
Yeah, Tetradooley shots travel faster. This is actually a problem for Tetras. Tetras do have to lead their shots quite a lot. They also benefit from the Reef Slider change later, so they're getting a
I'm
stronger
pretty-
special, and they travel faster. I could see Tetras seeing some use. I think Tetra's a little underrated right now, already. So I think, like, the main downside, though, Tetra is one weapon that gets stuck in human form a lot, though. So that will
Yeah,
kind of
the whole
balance it out a
time.
little bit.
It's a walking target, man.
Yeah.
But my Tetra is kind of insane.
But I
got
think it's going to
bugs,
have an
so, you
easier
know.
time killing people, and I think its special is going to be much better at getting kills as well. And I think it'll also benefit from Aura quite a lot. I think it'll proc it very easily, so...
Your Tetra is gonna
I
be
could see
weird.
Tetra seeing some niche uses. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. But yeah.
No.
Oh
Yeah, I just
shoot,
look at
it's
that.
Fallen B, they're back. $20. Did you use the money to bribe Nintendo? If not, here's 20 to try bribing them again. Here's some jokes. No jokes this time. Enjoy some money. I'm trying to join my school Splatoon 3 team. Wish me luck at tryouts. Yeah, good luck with tryouts. Yeah, I let them know
Good
about
luck.
the money, and they said they would
If you
go a
play
little.
roller,
They
you'll get
told me
them
they go a little easier than usual, so it could have been worse. And I think your donation helped with that happen. So we got a little.
Play 52 and have fun.
Stayed alive.
Incorrect. This is contraction because you can't have fun while playing 52. Yeah. Anyways, Nolan, you're playing 52.
Okay. Next up is my weapon, guys. Next up is my weapon. Brella is 9% more ink efficient. It's like old S2 Brella efficiency again. Let's go.
I did not need
All
that.
Alright, next.
That was not the
Next.
issue.
Who cares?
Yeah, it
This
doesn't.
thing's gonna paint 4,000 a game.
The only thing I would say is, like, you can probably switch off a sub or two of Inksaver main and run a bit more mobility or charge up or something. So I think it'll still matter because you do run.
It's
You
gonna
do
be
need to run
Demon at
main saver.
painting.
So you'll get a little bit more gear freedom. That's how I see the change.
It's a
But I
demon
don't think it's
painter,
enough.
bro.
I don't think it's enough.
It's in.
That's
human
not when
form,
the
isn't it?
changes.
All right, let's talk about S
I
Blast.
mean, it's already an
S
alright weapon. So,
Blast.
yeah.
S Blast
Oh,
All right.
has its
Next.
short range mode
Next.
reduced in it reduced radius by 11%, meaning it'll have less range and a smaller blast radius, and it is 210p for Booyah Bomb instead of 200p. So 11% smaller, to put into
Spoilers.
reference, is the same radius as Luna before the big buff it got in this game. Or, if it's easier to visualize, very slightly larger than old range blaster. It is about 35.5 units in radius size. So now,
It's dead.
now instead of being larger than Luna and the same as Clash, it is now comfortably smaller than the short range blasters. And this also means, if I have the numbers correctly, because we talked about V-Blast earlier, I do not think this weapon outranges V-Blaster anymore. I think it actually has less range than V-Blast in short range mode. So this might
Oh.
also be nice for V-Blast.
Oh, that
But,
changes things, actually.
It's
Huh.
going to be easier to be either too close or too far away from this weapon and harder to combo with it. But I think the weapon still got off pretty easy, though, if I have to be honest. I do like this change because, okay, I'm a casual now, right? I play the game for fun. When I play
It's a
S-Blast
lie.
and, like, S-Rank, it is so easy to just use the short-range mode and farm without thinking about it. And I think that is probably where the large margin of problem comes. This is supposed to be a difficult weapon, and the long-range mode is difficult, but the short-range mode is not difficult. So the short-range mode being a slower, smaller lunar radius, I think is fair, to contrast the weapon strengths. I like the way they nerfed it personally. I think this is a good change, and I like
Me
the way
too.
they went about it. I like that long-range mode is unchanged. That is a very skill-expressive mode, and I think it should have
Yep.
stayed the
Yeah.
way it is.
Yep.
And S Blast is not going anywhere because that's the that was always the best part of it.
I mean,
It's
Booyah's a
staying
little
number
weaker.
one.
Booyah's a little weaker. Booyah's a little slower output, and the short range mode. I think it's enough for me to say that I think Bucket is the better weapon now. I think Bucket is now top one midline in the game. I think it is better than S Plus now. But I think S Plus
What
is
did you
still.
say,
I
Zara?
think S Plus is still better than Mints. I'm sorry, Omega.
Could you?
You proc the
Oh, you think
conversation,
S Plus
you
is still
shouldn't
better
have.
than Mint? You should say
Yes,
sorry, Nolan.
I do. Sorry, Nolan.
Yeah, sorry, Nolan.
Plus goes from like number 1 to number 4. All good.
Yeah,
What?
like I think
Dumb.
S Blast is gonna be fine, but I think it's gonna be fair now.
Four?
Like I don't think S
Yeah,
Blast is
it's
gonna
not-
be. I don't think S Blast is gonna be unfair anymore. I think
What's-
it's gonna be
what's
reasonable
three?
now.
Mints, mints, and mints.
You know,
Oh,
I'm,
okay.
yes,
I'm,
okay,
I'm happy
okay.
with this balance spot for
Holy-
S-Blast.
Holy rage,
But
mate,
can we
holy
buff
rage,
other
mate.
can we buff other mid lanes better than this? The buffs were not good enough in this main weapon section. I have to say that.
Well,
Like,
hold on.
we need
They
to-
said it
L3 is
later.
better
They
than
said it
others.
later. They said it later.
That's true. We will get there. But yeah, are we kind of all in agreement? S-Blast will still be around. It just won't be OP
Yeah.
undisputed top
Yeah,
one
for
anymore.
sure.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
For
like-
sure.
AoE
It's
is too
legit just like,
valuable. Its kit is
hey.
too insane. It's so good with so many different comps. Like, it doesn't matter if you're playing meta or you're playing niche stuff. S-Blast enables so much stuff. So
Yeah, the best part of the gun was unchanged. The long range mode.
Yeah.
Like that was not the most broken part, but now it is. And
yeah, now it's definitely the better firing mode. If there were any
and
debates
it's
before,
still broken and it's unchanged.
I think
And
there's
it's like
more.
everything else about it is the exact same. It's just you just have to aim a bit better with the short range gun. Like it's just not egregious anymore. It's still broken.
Mhm.
It's still
Long
gonna be
range.
around.
I
I,
agree.
I still
mode.
think it's the best.
Yeah,
Long range mode was the thing that was making all the S plus players like distinct, and it showed who could click with it. So I think it's good that they didn't change it.
that's true.
Yeah, I think that is
Yeah.
the best possible change it could have done.
Okay,
I agree. It seems pretty fair.
next up, one more weapon, or one more special, and then some points for special changes. So Reef Slider. Reef Slider has a larger 220 damage hitbox by a lot. However, its paint is toned back, and it doesn't travel anywhere near as far. So if you try to zone cheese, it probably won't cap, and you can't do it from most of the usual Reef Slider spots, because you will now not make it far enough to get close enough to the zone to cap it anymore. So, Zone's cheese, I think now is fair to say, is officially dead. It might be to the point where I don't even know if SPU is going to be as worth it now, because, like, I don't think it's going to matter as much. Your 220 hitbox is large, and your 70 hitbox is unchanged, and it's still quite big. So, like, is it really going to be worth
I
stacking,
need
like,
to
2 or 3 mains of SPU? I don't know.
I need to see because 7% sounds small.
It goes from
But-
8.05 to 7.5, which is actually quite a lot. Like, for reference, I think it's like a little over a main of SPU to get it to 8.5, which is going to be toned back. So
Dude,
most SPU is
I'm-
ran to get to 9, and now running it to get to 9, like a 9 or higher, is going to be very tricky. Like, in theory, you can still run it, but even then, even if you have enough SPU to cap the zone, even if it still worked, you now have to be much closer to the zone to even do it. Like, you can't zones cap from the Mahi spot anymore. I don't even think Mako top right works anymore, etc. Like, a bunch of these spots that previously made it far enough aren't even going to get far enough. They're going to have to go closer to the zone to even do it. So I feel like it's
Yeah,
going to be
I-
fair at this point.
I'm just scared about that 20%. That looks like a big number.
It
and
does, but the
It's like
70...
hammer, dude. Like if they,
Or sorry, not the 70. The 220 radius is kind of small right now. Like, it's the one part of it that hasn't been made large. And it can't travel as far to hit you with 220 either, which is another reason I think they decreased the charge distance.
I needed this patch when we were fighting primed ProChara S3. Oh my goodness. Holy crap.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This- My gosh. Okay. Needed this.
Mhm.
X rank is going to be so much more fun because of it, even though 52 cal is going to be the worst.
I'll come back
Yeah,
for one
I
tournament to
think
prove I can
it-
win without zones cheese, and then I'll go back
I
to
think
retirement.
they just took too long to like make the pivot because they pivoted to making it like a big explosion that paints a lot, and then they're like, wait, like it took way too long for them to be like, actually,
Mhm.
Yeah.
maybe it shouldn't do that. We should just make it a nuke.
Yeah.
Like they should have just done that
Yeah.
from the beginning.
I will
agree.
say I like how far you can go with Slider. I think that's part of what makes it fun, and I low-key think it's going to be less fun that the travel distance is this much shorter. Now, is it worth it
It's
to get
gonna
rid
be
of
so
zone
small.
cheese? Absolutely, I agree. But like, man, that was the thing I liked about the special. It was kind of fun to mix up how far you were going to travel. That was like the one thing I found really interesting about it. I think it's going to be a way more boring special.
They nerfed it 'cause
But
they
that's a
used
worth trade-off to get
Yeah,
rid of
oh
zone
my-
cheese. Zone cheese needed to die. So like,
Yeah, this thing does not travel that far.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I think it's a good change. Hey, maybe Crab Dread is better now. That'd be awesome. Crab Dread is cool. I
Well-
like Crab Dread. Yeah, Resider doesn't travel as far. All right. So besides that, we have some
I
points for
forgot
special
Crab Dread.
changes. Almost all of them don't matter, but we'll get to the ones that do. I think Vimy will be fine, but good change. Stamp output was annoying. Same for Pro. Crab output was annoying. I'm glad they changed it. That's good.
Dumb.
I don't think New Squiffer and ZF will change that much, but again, that's fine. Good change. You know, they're good to see.
New Squiffer!
Machine is still dead in the water, but at least it's not 220p. Let's do this for Squeezer next patch.
So
Oh yeah, the
funny
center
that
point of
it's
Reef
still
Slider is
funny.
moved. That's true. I forgot to mention. Reef Slider won't get blocked by the tiniest walls anymore because its
Like
explosion point isn't at the
they should have
bottom.
kept They should have kept machine at 220 for like the lull.
No, they shouldn't.
That
Like it
would've
would have
been
been
so funny.
It would've
We,
been so
we only have
funny if
one
they did that.
220
No one
weapon
plays
left.
anyways.
We can get rid of it. We can get rid of 220 in this game. We could heal. That would be a good change.
No.
All right,
it'd
let's be
funny.
real though.
220.
There's only 1 point for special change here, besides S-Blast nerf, that's pretty impactful. And that is Tri-Slosher Nouveau is escaping 210p. We saw a little bit of Tri, mainly with E-Leader, but the problem with that seems to be that cooler output is such a problem. That seems really difficult to bounce around.
Sorry.
Now it's a little bit easier. What do we think about Tri-Slosher? Shadow.
Mid.
Bro.
Dude, you're just so mean. You were laughing under your breath
That
the whole
is so
time.
mean, yeah.
Shadow, what do you?
Come on, Shadow. We gotta talk about
what do you think?
Tri-Slosher. Where's the enthusiasm?
It's a terrible weapon.
This guy does not want to
I'll
play.
leave
Dude,
this
I'm with
team
you.
so fast. Max is ready to play, bro.
Okay,
Trying
so
to rage
let's
bait
seriously,
Shadow,
what do
like,
y'all think about the
why?
Tri change? Because I think it could be used. I think it could be used with Bow or with Leader. I could see it being picked personally.
I think all the weapons deserved it.
If y'all want a bow that bad, I will leave this team. So
Dude,
fast.
it's
I
not
did not
fair,
say
you know,
anything
it's
about
you
wanting a
guys.
bow. Like,
Stop.
where did? Not. We're good. We don't need Bow.
Nobody
I
even
agree.
mentioned Bow.
We did
Dude,
not
we're just
mention Bow.
I mean, Chara mentioned.
I
it.
talked about it
Chara
in
mentioned
conjunction with
Bow.
Tri-Slosher. I did not
I
say
didn't hear
Basil
it.
had to play it
Well,
specifically.
yeah, you mentioned Shadow
Still
Tri-Slosher,
hearing.
so that means you're mentioning Basil Bow. Like, what?
No, Tri and Leader is a pair too. We don't need the Bow.
Let it
You
be
said
known,
both.
Chara
Just
only
2 seconds ago.
Chara only
Yeah.
wants to rage bait Shadow. Like, this is.
It's
No,
not
I'm being
rage
rage
baiting,
baited
okay?
right now. This is exactly what this is.
We're not.
Yes, it is. That's what all of you are doing. I'm not.
No,
falling
we're
for it.
not.
Yeah, we are.
Rage baiting and
You're
playing
trying-
victim. This is
Dude, you're
crazy.
trying to. Yeah, like, what?
You know what, Chara? This is why we slide our Kenzones choose anymore.
I don't play the game. I don't care. Happy with it. Now my weapon won't be called lame. Just kidding. It'll be called lame. That won't change.
It's still
People are
gonna be
still
called
hating
lame.
it.
pretty
Yeah. I'm
You
sorry,
paint the
buddy.
zone forever.
Well, yeah, but that's going to be harder too because the hitbox changes. It requires more skill now.
2.4K paint every game. 9 sliders.
All right. So besides that, sadly, there's a few other small things that are worth noting. X-rank battles will now show your most frequently used weapon instead of the last one used. So if you play X-rank with a meta weapon and switch to your low-tier warrior for the last game, it isn't going to work anymore. You have to be honest now about what weapon you're playing if you want that top status. Good. That's very good. We're getting another balance patch much sooner. My guess would be next month, because that's when the new season starts. They're clearly going to want to make sure nothing from this gets overtuned too much, which I think is good. And sadly, if you guys watched the NA Open, you remember Shiny using the Mako Mart Clam Blitz basket against Milky Way, and that is unfortunately being removed from the game. It's tragic. We'll no longer have any clips. Nintendo saw it when it was on stream. They took that note, they saved it for the patch, and it's gone. Thank you for the 100 bits.
Patch like forever later.
Dude, thank goodness I didn't do the decap tech and end the NA League. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we
No,
gotta
that's so true.
save that one.
Yeah, we played on a map that they could have happened on.
We could have done it there. Yes, we could have. But
Yeah, we should
Oh.
probably do the booyah glitch a lot on stream.
I was on stream. Don't care, Nolan.
See,
yeah,
I hate it so much.
That
It's
and,
like not
uh,
a feature, it's a bug.
they actually do have one bug fix that I think is worth talking about as noteworthy. They fixed bomb desync. There was a problem where bombs would be on slightly different positions on other players' screen, or drastically different in some cases. They fixed it, which is very good, right? So
Good.
dying to bombs that look like they shouldn't hit you might happen less frequently. I think that's a good change. Yay. And that's the whole patch. That's everything. That's 11.0. What do we think overall? There's clearly a lot
I
of
think it's a
changes.
good patch. I'm excited for the next one. I want to see what they change.
I don't like 52. That's the only thing. It's quick.
I wanted to
my-
see more main weapon buffs personally for midline meta. I'm still worried about that
Yeah.
because midline weapon power is still going down in this patch. I'm hoping that fucking Aura will compensate for it a little bit, but we have to see, to say the least. But I like the overall changes. I think the game is going to feel more fun to play. I think it's going to feel like there's more skill expression. I think it's going to be more hype to watch. So I like that change. But I mean, we have to see how it affects
I
the
think
meta.
everything is pretty good.
Even if the meta doesn't change that much, I think it'll be more fun to play. Like, between the S-Blast nerfs and the new mechanics, I think it'll be more intriguing, to say the least. So I'm excited to see how this plays out. Honestly, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I will be playing Dynamo Frame 1. If when I organize a PB for this,
we are never pick-upping.
I'm gonna be playing Dynamo in the PB. I'm gonna be having fun on that weapon.
So for real with you. I'm never pick-upping with you. I was honest before. Now I'm being honest again. We are never playing.
All right.
That's just mean.
That is very
No,
mean.
okay,
Yeah, that's really uncalled for.
Okay.
That wasn't
I'll
even
play.
funny.
That was
I laughed, but that was just mean.
You
I
laughed
don't
like
think
what?
anyone-
Okay, fine.
I don't think anyone laughed besides Nolan, and he clearly regrets it.
I mean, I didn't say I regret it, but
I'll play
Well,
with your
okay.
buffed Dynamo. I'm pretty sure it's like top 1 now or something.
True. Hey,
Actually,
dude,
maybe
if I
probably
wasn't
be good with
retired,
Dynamo.
I could play the Dread Dynamo weapon pool I talked about like a year and a half ago.
Wait.
It happened too late for me. Someone else will have to use that weapon pool.
Chara, we can play Mint Dynamo Rapid Blaster. Wait.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I'm down.
That's
We should
actually
play with
fire.
Max
Wait,
sometime. He wants to play Rapid.
No, I mean I was trying to hate on you, but I can't now. Dang it.
Yeah, too bad.
sorry.
Let's get overall thoughts on the entire thing. Let's go down the list or up the list. Who wants to start? I guess.
Shadow.
I'll start. Good.
All right.
W. All right, Shadow, you can go.
Yes. Please welcome Omega the roller player, SS Nolan the gal player.
I'm not playing 52.
We are really set on this Roller 52 stuff. I think you're in for a rude awakening over the next week when you realize that this stuff isn't going to be broken.
We'll see.
We'll see.
It's like the aura is gonna give you like 3 like ability, like it's gonna give you like 3 subs of each.
I mean,
and you're gonna be
maybe.
like, dude, it's so broken. It's like, no.
I still think roller will be really good though.
I do
I think
too.
so, too.
But I don't think it'll
'Cause
be
you
that
just
common.
you just
'cause
can't
it's a
hit it.
specialist weapon.
It's gonna be in squid form all the time, sharking you. Plus, it gets movement buffs.
Maybe we'll get some
Maybe
Omega
52
Roller.
won't be like that insane, but it's just gonna be so hard to kill a roller.
Yeah.
If I'm being real, I'm only like there are of course already 52 gal players in comp and everything. They're all gonna be buffed of course, but I'm mostly talking about 52 gal and X rank. I don't actually think you're gonna play 52 gal Nolan. V roller will definitely be a lot stronger. There aren't very many. Like the main one, Atomic, doesn't play, and like I think that'll be really cool if anything. I don't think we're gonna start playing 52 and V roller. I feel like this is the stuff of nightmares in X rank, and they'll still be good in comp, but it's not gonna be like our,
Hey,
our
if they're
main
broken
go-to
in
or
X rank,
anything.
they'll nerf them. So we'll see.
Yeah.
They'll
So,
keep an
Can we
eye on
buff
that stuff.
Kraken next?
Yeah, Kraken's a little stranded right now, but maybe one
Yeah.
day.
But good patch. I think I'll enjoy X rank less out of all things, because 52 and roller will be more annoying to fight. But I think the patch is overall very good.
Yep. I think comp play will be a lot more fun. I am very interested. Gotta have some new stuff to coach the team on, so that gives me more to do, and I'm excited for that. I'm happy to like have a few more things for us to work on. I think that's always fun. Basil, what about you? You've had a lot of varying takes on this throughout the day. Where do you land right now? Overall positive, overall negative, or somewhere in the middle?
I'm probably like a 6 out of 10. A good chunk of these changes don't really benefit me. They're like most of the changes are slightly negative towards me, or like me just barely being involved at all based on what weapons I play. Like I'm not gonna benefit from the self jump change, or like actually, no, I won't.
I mean, I don't think you benefit, but I think everyone else hurts more than you. I mean, you don't use stealth, so I feel like it's
Yeah,
indirect net
but
cause, I guess.
like, also I feel like what was said about solo queue being more unavailable in that sense, like seeing 52 and roller runarounds and X is not gonna be fun, but they did add some cool stuff, and I can tell they're going in a good direction with some things. So I think overall it's good. It's just that because of the weapons I play, I'm not really gonna benefit from a lot of the stuff they added. So, oh well.
Yeah. I think if this
It's not
patch,
bad. I think overall good.
I think if this patch released without any of the overall gameplay changes and it was just the balance notes, this would feel pretty bad. But I think with the gameplay changes alongside it, I'm glad they're willing to change stuff. And I'm also glad we get another patch soon. I'm glad we don't have to wait a long time before
Thank
more balance
goodness.
tweaks. That's really good for keeping the game fresh. I'm very glad to have a faster turnover time before the next patch. I want to see more changes. So I'm glad that's not going to be far away.
They should keep that schedule of patches.
Yeah, I feel like it would be better if they patch the game more. Even if they keep these smaller
Please.
patches, then I think they should patch more. But we'll see. We'll have to see. But yeah, I think we all lean overall positive then. Yeah, like slightly, a lot of hesitancy. We still got to see what happens, but
Hesitancy.
I think we're
No, I'm
enthusiastic.
Barely.
Hesitant
I love this.
enthusiasm,
Let's go,
I
bro.
would say. Our overall
I'm
take is.
very
Oh, I like
curious.
it. I
Very
like it.
curious on how Mint will feel after the hitbox changes for human form. So that's the main thing that'll like,
Mhm.
change how I feel. But I think it's positive. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Alright.
like it a lot.
Yeah.
That is our thoughts. Thanks so much for tuning in. And if you're seeing this on YouTube, you can check out everyone's channels by clicking on them. So go subscribe to everyone. Omega and Basil have new videos up, and Nolan will get a video up soon. Shadow will probably record
Don't
something
lie.
eventually, so there'll be more content. All right, I'm going to end the VOD now before they say no. Bye!